It all started on September 7, 2022, when each member of the alternative rock band Paramore would change their profile pictures on Instagram with their faces squished against a wet window. Everyone in the community was freaking out as they finally got that one smidget of information potentially starting the rollout of their next album. Taking a quick step back, everyone knew they were working on their sixth album, which was coined Six More by fans, due to the band's return letter from the end of 2021, the numerous reiterations from Haley that they were working on it, the announcement of them headlining When We Were Young 2022, as well as the confirmation of another North American tour the following summer. Yet, the project was still shrouded in mystery. There was no album cover, no details on what the album would be about, nor a release window. Thankfully, September would get the ball rolling on the ARG-like reveal of this project. The band's website would go through an odd change, switching from the aesthetically stimulating loop of the Hard Times music video that was there for years at this point, to just a plain white background with some dates and cryptic titles. The band seemed to be leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for the fans to lead them to more information on this project. The first date, September 1st, revealed that the band was finally making a public Discord server after all these years, but it wasn't publicly released until the 8th. There had already been fan-made servers out there since at least 2017, but seeing the band make their own allowed for more members of the community to come together. The r/Paramore Discord server even had to change their vanity URL once they were contacted by those running the official Paramore Discord. Another huge thing to come from this day was a post from the infamous Instagram gossip account Demois that featured a subject line from an email saying, "Paramore's sixth album surprise drop." The message read,
"Anon, please. Can confirm Paramore's new album on the 9th.
An important thing to note is that their pseudonyms were Record Store, being spelled in the same way as the ARG titles. With this being a rumor, it had to be taken with a grain of salt, of course. Yet there was an entry on the ARG for the 9th titled Wrong, so I guess we had to wait and see. The next date, September 7th, titled Blank, goes back to the intro of this video, where the band members changed their profile pictures and wiped their accounts. Stepping away from the ARG for a second, the band, accidentally, started a live stream on their Instagram where it showed their feet dangling from a roof. It was only live for a minute or less, but some people were able to get screenshots of it. Keep this stream in mind for later though. The following day, the Discord server was released and brought forth a 10-second snippet of a song 2 hours after it was released with some dated camera footage and a channel titled The News. At this point, fans were starting to believe that this would be the lead single for this upcoming album, since it was the only snippet of any song up until this point. This wouldn't be it for the Discord though, because the fans on there would stay up until midnight on the 9th to see if the Demois post that I just mentioned would actually turn out to be true, or to find out whatever wrong it was. Time was ticking, and the excitement for a potential surprise drop of the album only grew. 12 o'clock would finally hit, and there was nothing. Everyone on the server lost their minds since they all stayed up together for whatever was going to happen. Later that morning, Paramore would post a video on their Instagram of the fans going crazy on the server with the caption saying, "Wrong." This proved that the rumor was false and that they were probably trolling this whole time by being the ones to email Demois in the first place. After this would be September 12th, titled LA, which was pretty straightforward since they just announced 2 more shows for their tour that would be there. When the website first changed its layout, the September 16th date didn't have a title. Yet, a few days into the ARG, a title would pop up being named PSTIW. On this day, the album cover was finally revealed, being the origin for the members' profile pictures that I mentioned earlier, as well as the pre-save link and release date for the lead single, This Is Why, coming out on September 28th. There were even countdown Instagram stories posted by them featuring different shots from what was presumably the music video. As I said before, people were thinking that this song was the snippet from the 9th. Thankfully, we would soon find out as the 28th would finally come and bring forth Paramore's first song in over 5 years. But wait, this song wasn't the one from the snippets we heard before, meaning that there were more singles to come. As I previously mentioned, the lead single, This Is Why, came out on September 28th and focused on why the band didn't leave the house for an extended period of time. This was obviously due to the scary P word that YouTube freaks out about, their mental health struggles, and all the other crazy things going on in the world around them. There were promo pictures released as well, with Zach standing near one of the cameras on set, Taylor sitting in a chair and playing his guitar, and Haley walking her dog, Alf. However, the day before on the 27th, the name of the album leaked. We already knew This Is Why was the lead single, but we didn't know that the album would go by the same name. The dates would change on their website too, introducing two new ones titled Leave the House and Tonight. Leave the House on October 2nd marked the start of their tour, which I was able to attend and had a fantastic time. And Tonight on November 3rd was for their appearance on Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show for the third time. Unfortunately, the start of the tour would bring forth another leak involving the album's track list from the tour shirts out of all places. Like, I'm sitting here wondering how this even happened. Were they planning to reveal the track list but decided against it at the last minute? Or did they do this on purpose for those who looked hard enough? Who knows with how this band advertises and reveals things sometimes. The following month, they started to tease this new song from September again by airdropping another snippet of it to the audience during their Beacon Theater show on November 13th. Their website would go through another change too, featuring 3 more dates. The first one was titled Gwizzle on November 29th. This entry focused on the popular influencer Gwizzle, who happens to be a big fan of the band, posting a TikTok of herself with a bunch of Paramore vinyls in her hands on one side, and who was presumably Haley writing the news 12-8 on a CD on the other side before putting it in an envelope with Gwizzle's name on it. This tied into the next entry of the ARG titled Breaking the News, since Gwizzle wouldn't play what was on the CD until a live stream a few days later on the 2nd of December. Unsurprisingly, the CD turned out to be another snippet of the news. In this snippet, parts of the song were cut off by emergency alert sounds, leaving Gwizzle surprised. Another part of Breaking the News came in the form of fans getting cryptic messages from the official Paramore Instagram, which were lyrics from this upcoming single. The last entry on this updated page would come a week later on December 8th, simply titled Delivery, as the news would finally release after months of anticipation. This song focused on the band's hesitance to keep up with the news due to the war in Ukraine, the constant strain social media has on their mental health, and any other increasing problems in the world that affect all of us. Haley urges listeners to turn on and turn off the news on the chorus due to the consistent negativity and stress it brings to us all. On January 8th, the website would change to only one thing, titled CCC for the 12th. 4 days later, the last single titled C'est Comme Ça will release, detailing the band's It Is What It Is mindset, as well as Haley's acceptance of disorder and chaos being a necessary part of her life. Technically, the song was released the day before on Zane Lowe's Apple Music show before it came out everywhere else on the 12th. At this point, there was only one more month till the release of this highly anticipated album. The buzz around Paramore was only getting stronger with help from their recent tour, their Tonight Show appearance, their numerous interviews, and their mysterious ARG. But in typical fashion with this band, it can't be all sunshine and rainbows in Paraland. If I had $1 for every time something went wrong for Paramore, I'd be chilling on a motor yacht with a shirtless Elon Musk, sipping the finest margarita a skeleton can buy. Elon, if you somehow managed to watch this video, I don't know how it would happen. I don't know. Somehow you just find this video. Please don't ban me from Twitter, okay? I got a family to feed, okay? I can't get banned on there. It means everything to me. Of course, the album leaked online days before it was released. Now, a solid portion of the fault for this situation could be given to the distributors of the vinyls and CDs since people were getting them in the mail early, but I also saw TikToks of people getting early vinyls from Target. The negligence of both parties made this a shitty situation nonetheless. Thankfully, I never came across the album early, since I had heard about this situation and strayed from it as far as I could. Either way, the situation could have been much worse if the album would have leaked earlier. Another thing to come from this last week were these goodie boxes sent to fans that had different Good Die Young products, a camera, and a signed Running Out of Time flexi disc. There was also a message once the box was opened saying, "You don't have to leave the house for now." The Paramore Twitter account DM'd fans asking for their addresses so they could send these boxes out. The last few days before release, there were listening parties in record stores around the world since they wanted people to go out and support their local stores. At the Grimey's listening party in Nashville, there were even limited wristbands given out and giveaways of various Paramore goodies. There were also free raffle tickets for a grand prize giveaway of the album. Hey guys, while I was editing this video, I realized that I forgot to mention the This Is Why mural that was painted by Kim Radford, a muralist and painter in the Nashville area. I remember when the album was about to come out and I was looking at the progress on the mural and I was honestly amazed by it. So you guys should go check her out. I'll leave her Twitter in the description and yeah, go support her. Going back to the leak of the album, I guess it was sort of negated then since the listening parties were happening days after it. Following the listening parties, it was finally time. After all the years of darkness on what they would do next, or if they would even come back, Paramore finally released their 6th studio album, This Is Why, on February 10th, 2023. But wait, how did this album perform? Was it a great comeback for the band after the last mysterious 5 years? Or was it a dud that proved those out there right that believed it was over for this 20-year-old band that overstayed their welcome? Once the album was released, reviews from all over started to come in, and it sucked. Everyone thought the album was trash and it was over for Paramore. From then on, it was Para no more. Hayley Williams was washed up and they all had to file for Chapter 13 bankruptcy for how bad the album was. Psych! Alright. The album actually proved to be a great success for the band, as it revitalized their older sound a bit with tracks like You First, while mostly taking a more funk-oriented approach. It definitely showed that they still had the drive to make artistically diverse and thought-provoking music. It has an 85 on Metacritic, being their highest rated album on there, and receiving a universal acclaim accolade with a 9.1 user score as well. I mean, if the critics like this album, you know it banged. Even Anthony Fantano gave this album an 8 out of 10. This is the same guy that gave My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West a 6, by the way. But we live and let die.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I personally think it's a great album as well, since they took a different direction, covered some pretty serious topics, and made some awesome songs like the title track, Running Out of Time, Big Man, Little Dignity, and Figure 8. Every fan account I follow on Twitter loved it, of course, with some people on there disliking it here and there. Overall, the mysterious rollout of This Is Why was a great opportunity for members of the community to come together again after the 5 years of letting the members recuperate. Before I end this video, I just want to apologize for taking so long to upload again. I got caught up in a lot of schoolwork and finals for my first year of college, so I had to take some time away to finish strong. To all of those who subscribed and commented while I was away, thanks a bunch for supporting a college student just trying to entertain and inform others in this crazy world. If you're a new viewer, I appreciate you a lot for finishing this video and giving me your precious time. If you enjoyed it, it wouldn't hurt to subscribe for more content like this. If you like or dislike this album, let me know in the comments as always, and drop a like on this video. I gotta get to these 100+ entries for part 2 of the iceberg, so I better get going. Please take care of yourselves and continue to do great things every day. See y'all soon.